Call to order the December 6, 2017 Planning and Zoning Commission. Roll call.
Barbie? Buckley?
Here.
Castro?
Here.
Kroll?
Here.
Neer? Wright? Chair Atherton.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Approval of the agenda for tonight. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? If none, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
So moved by Kroll.
Second.
Second by Castro. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The approval of the November 8th, 2017 meeting minutes. Any additions, corrections, deletions?
Nope.
If none, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
So moved by Buckley.
Second.
Second by Castro. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We have the public participation portion of our meeting. This is an opportunity for citizens to make comment on anything that is not part of the agenda. And this evening, we actually do have a few
Well, one under public participation.
Okay.
This one's under the public hearing.
And so, Dave Lehman, if you want to state your, well, I just stated your name, but if you want to state your name and address, please.
That one's for the hearing.
Okay.
I'm Dave Lehman, and I live at 621 Karen Avenue. I'd like to start off by thanking the Commission for recent work on a cell tower proposal. I know it was long and tedious, and I recognize their work, and I commend you for that. My purpose for addressing you this evening is in regards, I noticed that you were going through various items in the UDO and maybe tweaking them or revising them. And in looking at the co-location protocol for new antennas or new construction of towers that's currently in the UDO, my personal opinion is I think that it's in need of some revisiting to make sure that it meets the goals that are stated, the purposes, which are all very good, but I think that some of the responsibilities to the petitioner can lead, as they have, to some difficulties, especially if there are some ethical challenges to successful co-location, which would mean a business, for example, would stand to not benefit from a successful co-location. Therefore, as I feel was done in the past case, the petitioner actually looked to prove or to try to convince us that co-location wasn't at all possible for a variety of reasons. And in our code, I think if it were tweaked a little bit better, that situation may be remedied so that the city and the public has a little bit more reasonable assurance that the co-location protocol is meeting the purposes as stated.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So if the city can make note, perhaps we can look at that in one of our next upcoming meetings. And
if I'm not clear, I would be happy to, to elaborate. It's specifically on the items.
Sure.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Is there anyone else that would like to comment on anything in the public, on the public participation? Sorry. Okay, if not, we will move on to new business. So we have a public hearing on a city-initiated text amendments to Municipal Code, Chapter 23, Unified Development Ordinance, Article 13, Signs, Section 13.07.071, in parenthesis, to allow projecting signs in the CBD, Central Business District, to include products sold with restrictions on text and size and any related amendments deemed necessary pursuant to public hearing and review. And so I turn it over to the city to start us.
Thank you, Chair. What you have in front of you is a proposed text amendment to the sign regulations regarding projecting signs in the Central Business District. That's where they're only allowed in the city. It's regarding the language regarding the products sold which are restricted from appearing on the signs. Public hearing notice was published in the newspaper on November 18th, meeting the public hearing notice requirements. Again, in the Central Business District, the UDO allows projecting signs, and there's a definition for projecting signs. They shouldn't be confused with wall signs. So projecting signs are signs that project from the wall compared to wall signs, which are closer to the wall, more parallel with the wall. So 95% or so of the signs downtown and throughout the city are wall signs. So we're just talking about projecting signs. There's a sample on the second page from Gordon Hardware showing a projecting sign. So we're clear on what those are. So projecting signs are allowed in the downtown district. There's they have restrictions regarding the size, 12 square feet, how far they can project from the wall, which is 4 feet. And there's also a provision how high they have to be above the sidewalk, which is 8 feet. The UDO also requires that projecting signs shall advertise only the name and/or nature of the business and not any particular product sold. Gordon Hardware, located on Lincoln Highway, had requested earlier this year to put up a projecting sign along the wall facing Lincoln Highway. They've done some improvements, very nice improvements out of the building this year. And part of the proposed sign included a wrench as part of the bracing of the sign, and there was a detail I provided in the report showing the bracing, the wrench serving as a bracing, kind of a unique design idea there, but the UDO didn't allow products to be in projecting signs, so they could not put it in there. They did modify it just to put a regular brace there, and got a sign permit and erected the sign this summer. And there's a photo of the sign in your report. So they would like to come back and put the wrench, the original design idea, and put the wrench back in and take the regular brace out, and like to do that, but the UDO would have to be amended. So in dealing with the business, and Trixie O'Flaherty, with the owner of Gordon Hardware, is here. I think she's going to speak a little bit on it, but worked with her, and the city initiated a text amendment because we thought, we didn't really see, a reason to take out, not allow products. I'm not sure the background of why products are not allowed in projecting signs in the UDO. I think it's been there for some time. The UDO, and looking at the text amendment, we're talking about the entire Central Business District, not just one location. The UDO does have several prohibited signs in the regulations, including rotating signs, flashing signs, attention-getting devices such as pennants and streamers. The UDO also prohibits signs which contain human or humanized characters or cartoons, except for wall signs, awnings, and projecting signs. So projecting signs do allow those humanized characters already. So I thought it was reasonable to allow products to be part of the signs. As long as the square footage is still met, all the other standards are still met for the signs. So, and 12 square feet is quite small. It's not for very large signs that are allowed for projecting signs. So you have a specific language in Exhibit A, which is repeated in the report, and the proposed language regarding the projecting signs for that provision. We substitute the following language, which would read: the sign, talking about projecting signs, shall advertise only the name and/or nature of the business. However, the sign may display a product directly associated with the business, so the product has to be associated with the business itself. No such product shall violate any other provision of the UDO, nor shall any such product relate to the imagery or products of a sexual nature or which appeal to a prurient nature. So they still have to meet the square footage, the other standards, max out from the wall, et cetera. And it kind of allows a unique design for some of these signs and still not violate the other regulations. So we're in support of the amendment. Just one note, the original amended language, we did propose the removal of the allowance of the humanized characters as part of the amendment, but took that out at the end because it already allows that on projecting signs. If the commission wants to do that, which we would not recommend, we'd have to modify the sample motion. So I provided a sample motion report, simply moving that the text amendments regarding the projecting signs as described in Exhibit A to the text amendment application dated 11/17/17 be approved. as I mentioned, Trixie O'Flaherty with Gordon Hardware, the owner, kind of initiated the request for the amendment. I don't know if she wants to mention anything or talk about that, certainly answer any questions that you may have.
Sure. So just for technicality, I'm opening the public hearing now, so
Okay.
anyone who would like to speak.
I would like to speak.
That's okay. So state your name and address, please.
Sure. Trixie O'Flaherty, 910 North 9th Street in DeKalb. And pretty much the whole reason for this was with our remodeling project, I wanted to do a few creative things to the outside of our building that would make it a little bit more noticeable and have more of a classic design on it. You know, like there used to be anvils hanging outside of blacksmith shops and things like that. And so I wanted to have something that might be slightly eye-catching, that people would remember us, you know, even if you don't notice it right away, it's just kind of subtle and classic. But the current sign ordinance doesn't allow for that. We have a lot of other non-conforming signs in town that people who haven't gotten permits have put up, and they have the products that they sell on them. And that was frustrating to me. When I approached the city and on how to deal with this, really the only way, other than a text amendment like this, was filing for a planned development, which would be expensive and time-consuming for essentially the exception that I'm asking for. So this was pretty much the easiest way to make it easier on all of us going forward with signage. There have to be rules, but we also should encourage people putting creative and nice-looking signage on the outside of their building. And I think this'll help. And as the downtown redevelops, you know, hopefully we'll have some other unique ideas that'll come up that this can benefit others going forward. That was pretty much it.
Just a follow-up to
Yeah.
we mentioned the wall signs, which cover 95% of the
Yeah.
signs downtown, do not have a restriction on products sold.
Yeah, so the guy
Signs,
next door to me can put pizza on the front of his building, but we couldn't have a wrench on our bracket. That was frustrating.
I have a quick question for her
Sure.
while she's there. Could you, just a quick date on when you started this project and conceived the idea of the wrench?
Of the wrench? Well, the wrench has kind of been a joke for a couple of years, so when we really were talking about it was probably last winter this time.
So about a year ago?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. And I do want to mention your renovation looks fantastic on that corner. What a
Yeah, it's
difference.
beautiful.
Okay, do we have any other public comment on this item? If so, you're welcome to go to the podium. You didn't get any others, right, Dan?
No.
No? Okay. So commissioners, do you have any questions, comments? I'll start with
I'm
this
sorry,
one.
we always start on some extreme, I don't know if you, okay. I have a question, just to state the obvious, Mr. Olson. I'm just reading from the second page of our packet here. It says here, it is unclear why the UDO restricts products being sold from projecting signs since wall signs have no such restriction. Is it still the case today that we don't know why this
Yeah,
difference?
it's been in place for some time and not quite sure, you know, why that, you know. I
Okay.
assume they were trying to avoid some inappropriate display in the projecting signs, but wall signs, which vast majority of signs downtown are, there's no such restriction on it, so.
Yep.
We weren't quite clear. The UDO has been in place since the early 90s, I think, so the language has been around, so we couldn't find any,
Okay,
you know, reason from our research,
okay.
or specific reason.
So I'm going to take this as an excuse to say a couple of things. So sorry, this is going to take longer than expected. No, we're going to be quick. First of all, I certainly support the change in the UDO language. If nothing else, because this is a nice design and I like it, and I don't see why the city has to be in the way of this idea, and probably more importantly, beyond the wrench, why the city has to be in the way of nice ideas like this, creative signs, playful even to some extent. I also want to commend Trixie. I asked a question about for how long has the idea, at least the idea has been out there, about a year. I can only imagine her as a local business owner just going ahead and putting up the sign. The story will be very, very different if that had been the case. But I commend you for waiting and for talking to city officials and coming up with a change in the UDO. In fact, it goes to what Mr. Lehman was saying. The UDO, at the end of the story, is a document that we use as guidance for what we do. But it's not set in stone. It's something that can change. We are changing something small at the present time. I don't care much about what is out there right now, but I actually care for the possibility of what is going to come in the future out of a small change like this. And for what Mr. Lehman is bringing up, I encourage Mr. Lehman to, with patience, and it requires a lot of it, to approach city and support changes like this and propose changes like this. I emphasize the time that it takes and the effort and the patience that it takes, because these things are difficult, but I think that it has positive effect in the future for everybody. So I'm glad again that you wait. Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah.
As long as an advertisement isn't visually obstructive or obviously offensive, advertise it how you think is best. So,
I agree.
yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing?
Not a thing.
I want to piggyback off of what Mr. Castro just said, too. I commend you for bringing this forward as well. This is not just our city, it's your city, and bringing these creative ideas, I think, is part of what we need to capitalize on for the revitalization that's going on downtown. We've got some fantastic creative projects that have been taking shape and taking fold and redoing some buildings. Yours, like I said, a prime example, looks amazing compared to, it makes that corner so much different. And so I agree, if anybody in the city has anything that they may want to bring up, don't be afraid to approach the city, and I commend you both for bringing up these ideas, so thank you for that. So I give one more opportunity for anybody in the public that would like to speak. You're welcome to come up to the podium, state your name and address before I close the public hearing. Okay, there being none, I'm closing the public hearing and open up the commissioners for any further questions or comments, and if none, then a motion. And if the city has any further comments?
Nope.
I'll make a motion.
Go for it.
I move the text amendments regarding the projecting signs as described in Exhibit A to the text amendment application dated 11/17/17 be approved.
Second.
So motion in play by Kroll, a second by Buckley. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Barbie, Commissioner Buckley,
Yes.
Commissioner Castro,
Yes.
Commissioner Neer, Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright, Commissioner Chair.
Yes,
Motion passes 4-0.
thank you. Any reports?
Yes, on November 27th council meeting, the item that the commission made a recommendation regarding the cell tower at South 7th Street for Verizon, the council denied that special use request by unanimous vote. Upcoming meetings, the meeting for December 20th will be canceled, commission meeting. The next meeting after that, the first one in January, will be January 3rd. Looks like we'll have a couple hearings on that. And we'll probably do an email or something to make sure we had a quorum, but if the members here tonight, if all can be here, that'd be a good start. So we'll have a couple hearings for that, and then on January 3rd. Also, just a note, the checks will be cut for the commission for the 6 months. That will be last week of December. So you'll be getting those by the end of the year.
Awesome. Thank you.
And wishing the commission happy holidays, since we won't be meeting again.
Before we
too.
closed, I wanted to say the same to everyone, and everyone be safe. And taking a motion to adjourn if you wish. If not, we can sit and just hang out and chat for a while. We got 4 hours to
Motion.
kill. No, I'm kidding.
Motion, so moved.
Motion by Buckley,
Second.
second by Castro. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Have a safe holiday.
When's your birthday?
Yeah, that's why I was like, of course.
We're gonna be here with a